Recently, I finished reading the book Rembrandt is in the Wind by Russ Ramsey, and it's an incredible read. I would highly, highly recommend it to any Christian artist out there to read as well, because it's full of really beautiful, thoughtful insights that have really been sticking with me since reading it. And one of the chapters that's really been sticking with me since reading it is a chapter on the Annunciation of Mary, where an angel comes to visit Mary and tell her that she will give birth to the Savior of the world. And this is probably, in Mary's position, this is seemingly the most honorable, beautiful thing that God could call you to do, right? Is to be the mother of the child that has been prophesied of for thousands of years. And even though this is such a beautiful calling, she still experienced hardship through it. Like her and Joseph were probably pretty humiliated by their community because people assumed that she gave birth out of wedlock. And they had to go be exiles in Egypt for a couple years. And she even lived long enough to witness her son die the most horrible, horrible death imaginable. So even though it's such a beautiful, beautiful calling, it still came with hardship regardless. And basically what the author Russ Ramsey talks about is, if Mary experienced hardship, why wouldn't we in our vocations? We as artists were annunciated, he basically says at one point. At one point in our lives, there was a moment where we were called on by God to be artists. I personally don't remember that because I can't remember a time I didn't want to be a filmmaker, but some point when I was 3, 4, 5 years old, there was a moment where I realized that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make art. Maybe you have that moment that you do remember where you started playing an instrument for the first time, you started painting for the first time, and you realized that something awakened in you that was spiritual. And we're enunciated as artists, but even though we know that this is our calling, we're still going to get hardship through it. Like it may mean that financially we have some really rough spots. Maybe it means that we're really, really busy at certain points. Or maybe it means that we're making work that doesn't always feel like fully how we want it to, and we feel a little bit upset by how it's going. Or maybe just like a creative slow season where you just don't really know what to make and you feel like you forgot even how to do your craft in the first place. There are times when I feel like I don't even know how to use a camera anymore. And I think this chapter really stuck with me just because I am currently in a bit of a slower season creatively, and it can be easy to feel a bit like an imposter, like have that imposter syndrome that, what if this is not my calling? What if I'm wasting my time with this? But, like every artist has their struggles, and it's just a part of the game. It's the name of the game. And that goes for all vocations also. Like there are struggles with being a husband. There are struggles with being a family member, with being a friend, with being a teammate. But that doesn't mean those callings aren't beautiful. And if you look at, the struggle of witnessing your son die on the cross, the ugliness of that eventually led to the beauty that is the most beautiful story ever told. So even though we will experience periods of hardship through our times of art making, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be an artist. That doesn't mean you're less legitimate than the next artist. Oftentimes, my roughest periods of hardship through making art often lead to my most beautiful things I've made. In the epilogue of the book, Russ Ramsey basically pleads with the reader to keep pushing through with their craft. Keep going, just keep practicing, keep honing your craft, because the world is short on masters, is what he said. And I guess I wanted to make this video to relay to you guys the same thing, to just keep pushing in your craft, keep getting better, because there are so many beautiful things left to be made.